What I do is I use real silver and gold leaf. There's lots of gold down here, and this is all silver leaf. And yeah, there's actually a lot of underpainting that comes through the actual painting.
I see. How many layers do you put in normally, like on average?
I would say it's really only 5 or 6 layers. It's not that many.
5 or 6 layers. And these are drawn, painted from life, or is it like projected? Or
no, these are painted from photographic references. Yeah.
Now, how long have you had this particular approach, and what inspired you? Like, why gold leaf?
I've been doing this this technique for about 2.5, 3 years, and it's really a compilation of some of my favorite artists and just my favorite art throughout history. And one of the major things that happened to me was when I was in the Louvre in Paris. I was walking around and looking at all the art, and I remember looking at the ceilings, and they were more connected to me than a lot of the art on the walls. And the ceilings were actually gilded gold with these relief sculptures coming out from the ceilings. And there was something surreal about that to me, and I really connected with that. Among other things, Ang's Grand Odalisque, his Grisaille Grand Odalisque, to me was more exciting than his full color version.
So as far as the execution, like, I mean, just technically, right? Like, you first layer the gold leaf and everything, and then you put the model, like, or is it the other way around?
What I do is I paint the model in first, and then I leaf around the figure, and then I paint on top. So there's no silver underneath the figure, there's just silver around the figure.
Otherwise it will start chipping off, right?
No, not if you do it properly, but it's just I really like the linen, the canvas underneath the painting, not the silver.
And you only work with canvas, or
no, I paint on wood panels.
Wood panels as well. What is art for you, Brad?
What is art for me?
Art. Yeah.
Art for me, actually, I heard a really great quote at a lecture by God, I can't remember his name right now, but the quote was, when you look at art, or what we say is what is art, the question was, does it elevate or does it entertain? And I think that art should elevate,
not entertain.
And not entertain. No,
Why?
I think of it, well, if it entertains, then you're being entertained. I mean, I think that for me personally, art is something that maybe entertains us, but it also elevates us in the end.
I see. And you subscribe to this particular quote?
I like it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you probably exhibited for some time now, right? How many years, for instance?
Actually, I've only been doing this since 2009. So
2009,
yeah.
So relatively new in the scene of. Do you consider yourself a commercial artist?
A commercial artist?
Yes. I mean, there's do you make your living off of your art?
Yes.
That's what.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, where is the art scene going in New York, in your perception? I mean, is realistic art coming back? Is it still kind of like trying to knock on the door of contemporary art? What's your perception?
I do think realism is coming back, and what I think is exciting about it is that it's coming back with a sense of. I think realists are starting to really think about what they're painting, and not just painting a bowl of fruit, or
Right. Not just the technical aspect.
Yeah. And I think it's
with meaning.
Yeah, with meaning, and I think it's really exciting, and I think it has. I think that the last 2 or 3 decades, or 4 or 5 decades, have really affected that, and I think that's great. And I also personally know some great painters who were actually going to be illustrators. They were going to do science fiction and fantasy illustration, and
kind of a switch towards.
Yeah, and I kind of grew out of that as well.
You were an illustrator before?
Yeah, I was going to do that. That was my dream, but it just wasn't quite enough. But I know a lot of painters that are coming out of that, and I think it's exciting because it's interesting. It's not just realism.
What do you mean with this particular painting? Speaking of meaning,
so this painting is called The Quickening, and the idea is very simple. The idea is that this woman is standing in front of this very lush, kind of beautiful interior. But she's being approached by nature, and nature is kind of coming in this wind and kind of coming up her hair and grabbing her and kind of beckoning her to come back.
Because she's kind of she hasn't been with nature for some time.
Yeah.
Is that the?
She's a little disconnected.
I see. Do you find a lot of humans nowadays with the advent of Facebook and all the digital world, the virtual world, kind of straying away from nature?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I do it myself. As much as I love to hike in the woods, I'm in front of the iPad way too much. Yeah.
And leaves for you is a representation of nature.
Yeah, the leaves are a very kind of just simple representation of nature, and it kind of grew out of a lot of things. But there's this. I've heard that there's this wind, called a mistral, and it comes across the Mediterranean, and it blows this dust and these particles, and I kind of built upon that. But yeah, the leaves are nature.
Before you paint a female model, do you have a relationship with her, or is it like you can just basically hire a girl or a guy, for that matter, and just start photographing them and then work from photographs? How do you approach to your painting?
It depends. I've hired people, and we will know each other for a half hour, and we go out into the woods and we photograph but I also work with people that I know, so it varies.
What would you recommend up and rising artists who are trying to break into the gallery kind of exhibition and things of that nature? What can you tell, perhaps from your own experience, you could share something?
I would say that don't start going to galleries until you really feel like you have something special. Because if you don't feel like you have something special, then they're probably not going to think you do either. So
confidence is the key?
Confidence, and just keep working until you feel like you've got really something special, and then start at the top and work your way down. Don't think you need to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Start at the top, meaning?
Like pick the gallery you want to be in and go to them first.
Oh, pick the best gallery that you want to be exhibited in. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
And is that the case with you? Like this is how you started?
It worked for me. Yeah, it worked for me.
I see. And this particular style, has your style changed, or this is like ever since the gallery picked you up?
Yeah, I've kind of been working on this style for a good 10 years, and I didn't go to a gallery until I had felt like I had it. I perfected it, and so now that I have it, I'm sticking with it.
How many paintings under your belt do you approach a gallery with?
In three. I think I came to. I'm with Arcadia Gallery in Soho, and I came to them with about 8 to 10 paintings. Yeah.
What's your perception of photography in modern times? Photography such as works of David LaChapelle, maybe if you heard,
Yeah.
Where he stages the scenes, but he photographs, he never paints. He photographs, there's like colors, blah, 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 symbolism and stuff. But what's your take on photography compared to traditional painting and realism coming back? Realistic painting coming back into the contemporary art world.
Do I think photography is valid and useful on its own?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think as an artist, if you want people to feel something or see something, you have to
elevate someone.
Exactly. You have to choose the medium that you connect with. And if you connect with photography, and if David LaChapelle, obviously he's amazing, and if he connects most with building these sets and bringing people in and photographing, and he's saying something with that, or he's elevating someone, or doing whatever, then that's great. Yeah.
Is there a god of modern art today? Not necessarily in the realistic, modern, realistic traditional painting that you consider to be like, wow, I wish I had all these ideas, his or her ideas, or I wish I could have painted that way or whatever. Who's the living artist that you consider to be the artist of modern times?
I can't think of his name right now. Maybe you can help me. He's a South African artist, and I believe he's in a wheelchair, and he does these amazing.
Not Chuck Close.
No. He does these amazing pieces of headless models wearing dresses,
like realistic
with African patterns. No, they're like installations.
Oh. Okay.
God, I can't remember his name right now. He had a show at the Brooklyn Museum. He's amazing. I'm having a blank on his name, but he's absolutely amazing, and I'm very jealous of his ability. He does these. He does like
big pieces, right?
yeah, like slave ships, like models of slave vessels,
okay.
but they have African pattern sails on them. Yeah, God, I wish I could remember his name. Maybe I'm shy on camera or something.
Maybe someone in the comments, watching this video will be able to put something out.
Yeah, he's great.